Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be doing a wrap up for February. I forgot what month it was. I read a total of 7 books and then 2 graphic novels as well. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book I read in the month was Something Like Normal by Trish Dollar, and I actually read this in one night. It's very short and it was a very quick read, fast-paced, and really enjoyable. This is about a guy who is in the army and he comes back home for a short visit and he has a lot of family issues, and so it's kind of him dealing with that and then dealing with some things that happened while he was in the war. And then he crosses paths with someone from his past, a girl who he ends up falling for. I really loved the romance in this book. I thought it was very cute and believable as well. I definitely recommend this, especially if you are someone who really enjoys contemporary romance novels. Then I think you will enjoy this one. Oh, I forgot to give star ratings. When I first finished this book, I actually gave it 5 stars originally, but I knocked it down to 4. I just really tried to save 5 stars for like my absolute all-time favorite books. It wasn't quite there for me, but it was still very good, so 4 stars is still a really good rating. Next 4 I actually read on my Kindle. I read Losing It by Cora Carmack. I definitely enjoyed this book. I can't say it's one of my favorites of all time, but while I was reading it, it made me laugh out loud many times. Mostly the awkward situations that the main character gets herself into. They're pretty hilarious. This one is about a girl who wants to lose her virginity before her senior year of college, so she kind of comes up with this scheme to do that, tries to have a one-night stand with the guy, but she chickens out at the last minute, and then comes to find out that this guy is her new professor for her theater class, I believe. So obviously it's just a whole bunch of awkward and it's really funny. So I do recommend it if this sounds interesting to you. And I gave that one 3 stars. Then I read Wait For You by Jennifer L. Armentrout, or J. Lynn as it says on the book. And this one was a pretty good new adult. I didn't really like the love interest. The guy was just... it was like he was one of those guys that if I had like met him in person I would not have liked him. But I thought that their relationship together was cute and they were good together. So I was able to look past his certain personality traits that I didn't like. There's a lot of adult content in this one, so I would just keep that in mind going into it. I mean, I know with new adult you kind of have to expect that, but it seems like there was an excessive amount. I think I gave this 3.5 stars on Goodreads. Maybe I might have given it 4. I can't even remember what I rate these books, but if I were to think about it now, I would give it probably a 3.5. Then I read The Coincidence of Callie and Caden by Jessica Sorensen. I had to think about it. I have mixed emotions about this book because the storyline of the book was amazing. I loved that part of it, especially the ending was just absolutely crazy, and I really want to read the sequel for that reason. But it seemed like in the first half of the book, the writing style annoyed me quite a bit, so much so that it was kind of distracting from the story. But that could have just been the mood I was in at the time, so you can't really take too much from that. That's another reason I want to read the sequel, to just kind of see if I still feel that way about the writing. So in the end I gave this 4 stars, really just because the story was so great and I really liked the characters. So yeah. Then I read Crash Into Me by Katie McGarry. I loved it. I loved it so much. I love her books. I don't even know what it is about them. I mean, it's just... the characters are so great and the storyline is amazing. The writing, of course, is fantastic. Anything she writes, I just have to read it and I end up always loving it. So I think this might actually be my favorite in the series. I don't know, it's a close tie with Dare You To. They're all amazing and I cannot wait for the rest of the companion novel series thing. I love everything about these books, so definitely check them out. Next I read You Had Me at Woof. How Dogs Taught Me the Secrets of Happiness by Julie Clam. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It's probably one of my favorite nonfictions that I've read so far. This is about a woman, Julie, who gets her first dog, who is a Boston Terrier, I think. Yeah. She just totally falls in love with this dog, and so after he passes away, she decides to do the foster home program for dogs, for Boston Terriers specifically. So this book is just kind of about her experience with the whole fostering these dogs. It was just a beautiful story. I'm a dog person, so of course I was going to love this. I enjoyed it so much. So if you love dogs, if you're an animal lover, whatever, I think that you will really enjoy this. I really enjoyed the writing style and everything, so I'm very excited to pick up more of her nonfiction work. Absolutely loved it, and I gave this one 5 stars. So these next 2 books are actually graphic novels, and they are the Walking Dead comics. This is book 1 and book 2, and each book has 12 issues of the comic books in it. So I read issues 1 through 24 this month. These are actually not my editions. I borrowed these from my mom's boss actually, because he's totally into the show and the comics. So I actually have the big huge compendium of the Walking Dead comics, issues 1 through 58 I think, and it's humongous. So it's really hard to kind of hold it up and read from it. So since my mom's boss had these editions, he was like, you can borrow it and read it. So I did. I absolutely loved them, but I do have to say I really love the show more than I do the comics, which might be a sin because, you know, the comics was what started it all. But for me, it's the characters in the show. I just love them so much more. And honestly, the characters that I love in the show, I kind of hate in the comic series because of the way that they're portrayed. I just don't like them. But anyway, for the most part, I really enjoyed reading these, and I definitely want to continue with the series. I just kind of wanted to flip to a random page just so you guys could see what the artwork is like. But my favorite thing about these editions is that in the back they have just like, I think 6 pages of colored images, and they are gorgeous. Look at how beautiful these are. Truly amazing. And the last book that I have for this month is Champion by Marie Lu. I did not enjoy this as much as I had hoped. I mean, it was still really good, don't get me wrong. The series is really great, but I don't know, I felt like there was something missing. But overall, it was a really good end to the series, and I did enjoy where the story went in the end, so I did really like it, and I ended up giving it 4 stars on Goodreads, maybe 3.5. It's not my favorite book in the series. In fact, I think it's actually my least favorite, but it was still really good. I do recommend checking out this series. The first book is my absolute favorite. So that's it for my wrap up for February. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I can't get the page flipped. Next, I read The Coincidence of Callie and Caden. Caden and Callie. What is it? It was like he was one of the guys, those. And then his path crosses with someone. And then his path crosses with. Wrap up for February. I spit. Then I read Wait for You by Jennifer. Ow.